You're tuned in to Forked Podcast. This week, we're talking to Crystal Champagne, health and wellness coach, who specializes in helping us to release self-limiting beliefs and letting go of our internal judge.
Always boils down to not thinking that you deserve it, not thinking that you're enough, not thinking that you can do it, not believing in yourself. And so those are the issues that we work on and we address.
Hi, and welcome to Forked Podcast. I'm Sean Chris Lewis, your host, and today we are with Crystal Champagne. And yes, that is her name. I know this for a fact because we went to high school together back in the day, about 10 years ago or so. And through serendipitous events, our paths have crossed from time to time. And now here she is sitting across the table from me on Forked Podcast. And listen, Crystal is a certified coach. She can help us with our mind game, guys and girls, and she's an ambassador with Lululemon, fully certified as a yoga practitioner, and it actually goes on and on. She's a personal trainer, but we're going to let her share a little bit more of her story with us as we go along. Crystal, welcome to Forked Podcast.
Thank you.
Tell me a bit about this certification and that you have in coaching. We were just talking before we started the mics up about that it's a little bit more geared towards coaching for women.
Yes.
But explain that a little bit for us.
So I'm certified with a company called SWAT, so Simply Women's Accredited Technique. It took me about 3.5 years to complete the certification, so I was very happy once it was done. Because I'm in the fitness industry, I see a lot of women that are training with me that are not getting the results they want. So this is what sort of prompted me to get a little bit deeper and look at the source of why people are not having success in their lives in terms of weight loss or fitness, because everybody knows more or less, calories in, calories out, you have to do exercise, but a lot of times there's a sabotaging that goes along with that. And so that's what I do. I take a look at the sabotages. I work with with the women, and we take a look at what's holding us back. Aside from the exercise, like why would you, train hard and furious and do all the right things with your eating, and then, come, 8 o'clock at night, you jump into the bag of chips and you can't stop yourself. So there's reasons behind why these things happen. So that's what I do. Yeah.
I, as a personal trainer as well, would say but we always say like it's 80% nutrition, 20% training. And then what you just said hits me more, that mindset part is, I'd say it's holds it all together, right? Because you can do the 80% nutrition. You're on point all day. You're eating well, but then you get home and you can just kill it all with one, I don't want to say a bag of cookies, but you can just really go to town on.
For sure. So it's connecting all the dots.
Yeah.
So it really is. As you know, it's so much more than just it is 80% food, 20% exercise. But if we could actually put in, the mental state and our thought pattern, that would take a huge chunk as well.
Did any of this come from your own personal experience with getting fit and staying? Because you look super fit. Is this been a struggle for you from time to time, or?
No, not really. We all have struggles, but it never affected me on a physical way, because for me, exercise was my outlet. But why I fell into this what I'm doing is because I worked with so many women, and I could see that things were happening, and we had to go a little bit deeper. And so this is what more or less prompted me to do additional studies and understand, us on a deeper level, and make that connection between your thoughts and what's going on around you and what's going on with your body.
Well, tell me, how does that look? Like, if you have somebody who comes in to work with you, do you first sort of give it a shot at the training and the nutrition, and then you introduce the other types of coaching if you see that it's not going well, if you see that there's...
Well, it depends because I can coach people just without any personal training. Without coming to the gym, without any, I'm not a nutritionist, but any consultation in terms of what they're eating. Sometimes women just come to me for the coaching. And then other times it could be that they come for my coaching and they say, oh yeah, I want to come to your gym and I also want to do exercise. Or I get some people that are actually training with me. It's like, okay, I'm doing it. I'm working, and they're down the 10 pounds and then they come back and it's like they've totally sabotaged everything, but they weren't ready for the coaching. And then that's when we'll say, okay, you know what? Let's integrate. Let's keep doing what you're doing. Like, you're training. This is awesome. You're eating well, except we're sabotaging. So let's take a look at what's going on, and then I'll address the coaching that way. So it really depends. I mean, it's if you're feeling that and sometimes it doesn't even have to be with weight loss. It could be like, I mean, sabotaging our best interests. If it's because you're getting ready for a new job or anything else in your life that you sabotage.
Very interesting. Tell me about that a little bit, like jobs, because I completely agree with you. We're used to talking about self-sabotage. I can't sort of stick with my diet, so I lose a little bit of weight. I have a moment where I get down on myself and I eat my emotions, and then I lose some of my results over a period of time. We kind of get that part, but that job thing. You said when people go and get a job or they interview for a new job, well,
okay, so a lot of the times it's I mean, anywhere in our lives that we're not reaching our potential, and we know deep down like we want it, but we're not doing it. So it's like there's this burning desire, like I really want to become a yoga teacher, but then you don't take the steps to do it, or I really want to go for that job, or I really want to lose that weight. There's things behind that, and it sounds cliche, but it always boils down to not thinking that you deserve it, not thinking that you're enough, not thinking that you can do it, not believing in yourself. And so those are the issues that we work on and we address. And then that, as you can see, like that overflows in anything. So if it's for a job that you're applying for, if it's for, weight loss, or if it's for, any type of achievements that you just keep sabotaging, because, and as I said, it 9 times out of 10, it boils down to you not believing that you deserve it or that you're enough.
So do you think it's almost like people feel like they're going to be discovered, like they go in for a job and they are bright and they are competent, but they're afraid that the mask's going to be taken off? Is that what it is?
Well, it's not even getting to that point. Like, I'm not thinking that, deep down that you deserve this, so you don't even do it. Like, you don't even take the proper steps, or you don't do the proper steps to success, like to succeed in the job that you're applying for.
You mean like procrastination?
Oh,
right?
totally.
Like,
procrastination is one of them. Totally.
actually, I completely relate to that point. I think there's been moments that I've completely sabotaged outcomes in my life because I failed to. I mean, I've walked around the house. I know I got to prepare for this. And actually creating this new project is the first time in my life where I've sat down. I did my homework. I read a little bit more about Crystal Champagne and, called you and really prepared myself, not to take away any of that sort of nice rapport that can come out of casual conversation, not scripted, but prepared. In the past, I gotta say, I would have paced around right up until the moment of, hi, I'm Sean Chris Lewis, welcome to Fork Podcast. And after that, I'd go blank because I didn't prepare. So
my question to you is, where do you think that's coming from?
That's, okay, so I'm going to get coached here, guys, live on Fork Podcast. I could use it. I need some of that in my life,
But you've
Crystal.
obviously overcome it.
Yeah.
But
yes, to a degree, but I think that there's times where I know I have this big thing that I need to do, and it's so big. People say, well, break it down into little pieces. And I'm like, I can't, man. I can't. What's the expression? The forest for the trees,
you can't see the trees for the forest.
Yeah, something like that. It's I can't break it down. So I just keep going around, and I go get a bite to eat. Like, I'll go in the fridge, and I don't eat my emotions as much as some. No. However, I struggle with this. So I'll go to the fridge, I'll come back. Okay, I'm going to make a coffee. Then I sit and I start with the coffee. Okay, I get up, I'm going to get a scoop of peanut butter. And then oh my God, it goes on and on and on. So help me, Crystal. What do we do?
Well, in those circumstances, I would say, okay, well, I mean, and we all do this. I see myself doing this too. And is that a lot of the times when we're procrastinating, it's because we're putting so much pressure on ourselves to have a perfect product. So it's perfection. We're looking for perfection. Why are we striving for perfection?
Oh, I don't know.
I mean, it's because
I was hoping you'd tell me.
because we don't feel like we're enough. Like we have to be perfect. We're not accepting ourselves the way we are. And we don't have to be perfect. And we don't have to have everything all together to deliver a proper podcast or whatever it is that you're looking for in your life. So it's just letting go of the perfection. And the perfection is a cousin of procrastination. But perfection comes from thinking that you're not enough. And I've got to hone this 100% and then I'm going to be good. Well, that puts so much pressure on yourself. And
I feel like sometimes pressure that I felt on myself and what I've heard from people that, as you speak, like I just hear lots of conversations that I've heard in the past, and including conversations in my own head, that when the perfection or doing things perfect, I feel like it comes down to being judged.
why do you think that happens?
But I think it boils right down to what you said before. It's just like you don't want confirmation that you're not good enough.
But ultimately we are. It's that fear of being judged. But at the end of the day, what being judged on what? We're not going to be perfect. We're not perfect. We're human beings. So like we got to like sometimes let go of trying to be perfect in any sense of the word and accept ourselves unconditionally the way we are right now.
So how do we accept ourselves unconditionally, but still put goals on our plate and go out there and try and be our best selves without that sort of expectation? I know that's a tricky question, but
yeah. So how do you accept yourself unconditionally? It's practicing self-love. So it's being compassionate with yourself. I mean, when I'm coaching somebody, we take a look at a lot of the things that they feel shame about, stories in our lives that have happened. And, it's like an onion. We have to sort of peel it back. And you got to keep peeling those layers, those masks that we play because we protect ourselves to get down to the bottom of it.
So do you bring to help people with that, obviously having a yoga background and a practitioner of meditation, is that something that because I often will describe to people, I feel like I have a crazy monkey in my brain operating levers that I'm older now, and through exercise and, mindfulness and journaling and things. I have a very good relationship with my wife. She can help me to get grounded. So I use techniques, but there's something going on in there that needs controlling all the time.
Well, okay. So, I think you're a meditator, just like I am.
Yeah, I'd like to say I meditate, but probably not as much as I should.
Well, this is one of the tactiques is that, just meditating, honing things in, like tapping in, because meditation, I'm not advocating a meditation for anybody because I know a lot of people, it's not their thing, but this is just one thing, like for instance, that I do is that I do meditate daily. As soon as I wake up, I've been doing it for maybe 5-6 years. And what it does, it just slows everything down and it allows me to take a step back during the day, even because it's a practice I've done in the morning time where it's a mental discipline that, things are going crazy in my day, just to take a step back. Yes, I can recognize that monkey brain. Yes, I can recognize the negative talk that's going through my head that's telling me, oh, I'm not going to be good at this. I can't do this. And say, okay, no, that's not true. That's not me. That's my monkey brain talking. So that's why, stepping back once again, I'm not saying meditation is the thing, but it's taking a look at, if you can take a breather. Okay, recognize what you're feeling. Okay, and then what am I feeling? Your feelings come from your thoughts. So then saying, okay, I'm feeling anxious. What are my thoughts? What am I thinking right here? Oh, I'm thinking, oh man, Sean wants me to do this and I can't do that. So it's different. It's the inner dialogue that we have with ourselves.
Yeah. So, okay, this is a problem. This is a big problem. Because I think statistically we're all walking around a little more high strung and stressed than we have in the past. And it would seem that a lot of it is stemming from what you're talking about right now, because no time ever has there been more expectations on ourselves than now. We're exposed on social media to everybody doing better than us. We listen to coach. I mean, you're the real deal. I've talked to you before. You're a coach. You come from the heart, like what you do. But let's face it, sometimes you go on Instagram or on the web and everybody's a coach, and now Crystal's got to compete. Not saying you compete in that arena. You know what your specialization is and you know what your qualities are, but some people don't. There's been times I didn't know, and I was extremely intimidated by what I've been exposed to and still do. I have to put my filters on when I'm on Instagram, say.
Well, it's comparison. We compare ourselves, but the thing is we're comparing ourselves to things that are not real. I mean, you take a look at social media. Do you think for 1 second someone's going to show you that, they had a meltdown and their kid's crying and, they ate a bag of chips or whatever's going wrong in their life? It's always the best vision, more or less, right?
So how do we remind ourselves about when the anxiety is going through the roof?
So there's a girl that I know. She's got this great tag name. It's Stay in Your Own Lane. Or no, is it Mind Your Own Lane? I think it's Mind Your Own Lane. But it really basically means is like stay in your own lane. Mind your own business. Like, be fair to yourself. Do not compare yourself to what's going on with that other person or what you see, because you don't see you're comparing yourself to something that's not real. So it's not being fair to yourself. And a lot of the times, if you can't put your feet in that situation, then what I do is I say, treat yourself like you're talking to your daughters. Like, what advice would you give to somebody who you love dearly?
And take it ourselves,
That's it.
Are you proposing that I should follow my own advice?
I'm proposing, that basically, once again, it boils down to self-compassion and self-love, treating yourself in a way that you would treat somebody else that you love. Sometimes it's hard for us because of programming, whatever else. We're hard on ourselves. It's crazy, the expectations we put on ourselves. But do we put those expectations on the people that we love? Are we that hard with those people that we love? Do we judge them that hardly? Do we tell them, you got to be perfect? No, we don't. So that's one thing, is just treating ourselves with a lot more compassion. And if you can't do that, then imagine you're talking to someone that you love.
Crystal, this is so true. I mean, because if I see my daughters down about something, or even my wife, or even a client, I'll always say, listen, don't be so hard on yourself. And then I go into that coaching mode, which is, if you go to the gym and just get a little bit of exercise, you don't have to hit it out of the park. You just got to exercise a little bit. You got to watch the food a little bit, still get some of the expectations out. And in time and patience and persistence, read a few good books. And I know that time will ensure that person didn't become lazy, right? Because no self-expectation. Oh, I'm going to be lazy. I'm not going to do anything. I'm going to follow Sean's advice, and I'm just going to not be hard on myself. Mm-hmm. I don't want them to become lazy. And so how do we prevent that?
Oh, how do you prevent what?
How do you prevent somebody from taking your advice to, hey, stop? Because, we can just imagine that there's some listeners right now who say, hey, there's some people out there who can stand to be a little harder on themselves.
Yes, for sure.
How do we walk that rope?
So
this is a tough barrage of questions here, Crystal.
Okay, so you're asking me basically for those that actually need to get their butt in gear?
Yeah, I think so. But also maybe the ones who are afraid to follow that advice for fear that they're going to look like they're not giving it their all.
Okay.
That self-judgment.
Yeah.
I can't be easy on myself because then I'm not going to get things done. But they're still not getting things done anyways because they're
procrastination.
Stressed. Yeah.
So where's the procrastination coming from? I mean, am I answering that correctly?
Yeah. I'm following.
So the procrastination. If somebody can't get their butt in gear, they're procrastinating. Okay, well, where's the procrastination coming from?
So is it possible that being a procrastinator is actually somebody who's too hard on themselves?
Oh, totally. They're looking for perfection, and that's let go of the perfection. Accept yourself the way you are. Practice self-compassion. Mind your own lane. Don't look don't look at the other Instagrammers, because their story is their story. What's going on is their thing, and you have no idea really what it took for them to get that perfect post or whatever it is. You know, they may have 5 million people working for them and 5 managers and, you know, and PR people and whatever else. And like people like us that are, you know, smaller, I'm not saying, but basically that we don't have like you know, a team of, you know, 1 million people behind us being able to do all the work that
I completely agree.
Just put the blinders on and focus on your own stuff.
Yeah, that's super, man, that is really interesting that a procrastinator, it could actually just be somebody who's being way too hard on themselves. And because I actually remember way back when my wife and I, we went for some marital counseling, you know, because things aren't always perfect. And I remember sitting there and the marital counselor, so amazing woman. I'll never forget her and what she did for my wife and I. And she said, you know, Sean, I'm listening to you and you're a perfectionist. Crystal, I've never, ever thought of myself as a perfectionist because my self-esteem at the time was so low. I thought a perfectionist was a compliment. So I'm like, I'm not a perfectionist. I'm not that good. I'm not that smart. I'm not that interesting.
Yeah. But low self-esteem is that you're looking to be perfect because you don't feel that you're enough as it is without being perfect.
So low self-esteem could lead to an expectation to be perfect, which could lead to procrastination. Yeah. I'm not saying that the line has to go that way, but I'm saying it is a possibility.
Yeah. So low self-esteem or shame is that you don't think that you're good enough the way you are right now. So you have to do whatever it is to be perfect. And to be perfect, nobody's perfect. So of course you're going to procrastinate because you're like, where do I start? How am I, you know, and it's overwhelming. So yeah.
So getting started, that's why most of us, like I remember Annabelle, my wife telling me, Sean, just get a podcast done and put it out there.
Don't worry about it being...
Okay.
Yeah, like...
Because getting started is a form of procrastination being caused by this need for things to be perfect.
Yeah, and giving yourself the grace to allow yourself to be a beginner.
Oh boy, I let the silence go on that one. That was very good, man. Let yourself be a beginner. Because you know what? We all have to start someplace. And you know, we're beginners at everything that we do. So giving yourself that grace, hey, this is my first podcast. It's not going to be my best. I'm not saying. It's great. You're therapizing me. I'm already feeling better over here. I feel like I owe you money after this.
But, you know, I remember coming into one of my workshops because I do workshops for women. And I remember the first one, I was like the week before, I'm like, I had all my notes, I'd done everything and I'd worked and I created my program and I knew what I was talking about. And I was so nervous. And I'm like, why am I nervous? Like, I mean, I know my stuff because I teach all day long. I talk in front of people all day long. So it's like, it's no different. But then I'm like, because I've never done this before and I'm putting all these expectations for me to do it perfect and drive it home. Well, and I said, you know what? This is silly. Like, I'm going to go there, do the best I can. It's not going to be perfect, but that's okay because it's my first time. So it's just being my own best friend. Once again, it's compassion.
Wow. And, okay. So yeah, listen, you said a lot in that. I wasn't expecting our conversation to go this way. I think real-time talk like that is very helpful, right? Because, you know, we can talk about how do you manage people and bring them through this sort of like A to Z process. Better just talk about people who actually have real problems. I mean, I put myself right out there. I'm not perfect, and I've recognized that I'm not perfect, and working on myself is a daily thing, and the expectations, thankfully, but I'm 51. I get that at 51, but I didn't even get that at 49. Like, I'm serious. Over the last 2 years, I've changed significantly, and it's been more in alignment with the man that I've always wanted to be. I didn't know how to be this, but it seems that it's just kind of happening now. So is there any way we can help younger people to learn this sooner? Or is this like a big experience game? Is this
younger people?
Yeah.
My suggestion is just let go of the social media. Let go of the social feeds, like just that. I mean, that's just one step, I should say.
Like be on it, but let go of all the thoughts that come with it, or what do you?
Don't compare yourself.
So because they need to be on it, right? But not. Yeah, but don't compare. You inevitably do that, right? Like this is so how do we stop?
Stay in your own lane. Do the best you can do. Do not compare yourself. I catch myself. I do. I mean, I like, oh man, oh my God, look at that post. Oh my God, oh, I got to do that. And then I'm like, no, that's not me. Okay, take a breath, but it's just, once again, it's just sort of like taking a step back and not comparing yourself to things that are not even real, because we're just not being fair to ourselves.
So it's almost like that expectation comes into it. And so how do you coach somebody if you have a client? How do you, because we know that they have a particular body, and then you want to try and help people to accept their bodies and accept themselves and love themselves for how they are. And then you try to guide them through their goals to get fit or get healthy. So, but then they keep bringing up this idea, but I got these love handles and I got this. So we, as coaches, now you need to figure out how to get the actions in alignment with the goal, right? Because if you have a goal to be fit, but you're not going to the gym and exercising and eating a bag of cookies, you're not going to get fit. But the goal, you keep talking about this goal to get fit. So how do you help people to align their actions with the goals that they themselves are speaking out?
Okay, well, connection. It's connecting like what's going on. So if you've got these goals and you're not getting them, connect what is it's going on that's not in alignment with your life.
This is tough. Like what we're talking about here is tough, because we're trying to help people to understand that their expectations, we need to believe we can be better, right? Then we got to put in the actions to move towards our belief.
But believe that we deserve to be better in our minds, because we think sometimes it's because we believe that we don't deserve it. So it's not necessarily being, it's also believe like you deserve it.
What happens to somebody if they finally get it? Like they finally get the reward. Is that end game? Did they sort of beat the level boss and now they're good and they're...
Well, I mean, we're human. We're always going to fluctuate. We're always going to have struggles. We're always going to have triggers. I mean, so but if you can get to that place, you're working towards something, like if it's weight loss, like I'll give you a story of an example. So this one woman that I work with, she's a lovely lady, beautiful, just in every sense of the word. So, she's like, Crystal, like I've been, like I need to lose weight and I really, I don't know what's going on. I just can't seem to shake it. And she really, really wanted to. She didn't necessarily have to lose it. She wasn't, she didn't have too many health issues per se, but it was just more of feeling better in her skin. And I get it. I totally get it. So we started coaching, and like after digging and understanding, this woman was like really resonating at a place of fear, and it was because she'd gotten married when she was very, very young, and then and she got married to her high school sweetheart, got divorced, so she never really had any experiences with men in her life, and now she's on the dating scene. She doesn't know what to do. And, and it scares her because she's never had to deal with that. So the fear of just being able to address being in like meeting new people and meeting another man and actually being able to have another relationship, it was so foreign to her that it scared her. So then she wasn't losing the weight because she deep down didn't want to address her fears. So,
be on the date feeling like that she's not, for some reason, desirable, so she's not taking care of herself.
Well, she didn't want to be desirable deep down, because then she didn't know how she was going to handle herself, because she never had experience with men. So it was like being able to say, okay, so then it boils down to also believing in yourself, and then we work through that as well. But just, can you see the connection between the fear of being desirable because she thought she wanted to be desirable, but deep down she didn't take a look that she was afraid to be desirable because she didn't know how she was going to handle it. She was this woman in her 40s and she's never dated. So I was like, oh, I don't know what to do. So I'd rather just stay in my comfort zone. I mean, that's what we do. We like to stay in our comfort zones.
Not everybody's blessed to be in an environment that encourages them to do this kind of stuff. Then they say, like, you are the sum total of the 5 people you hang around with. So we know a lot of people aren't hanging around with the people who can help them. So what are some do you have some sort of like, here's Crystal's top 3 tips of what to know? Do you have something like daily, something people can do that translates into a better week? Okay. And sort of like, can we go through that?
Sure. So, I mean, some of the things that...
So I wake up.
Well, first thing, if you have the time or even dedicate, I would say dedicate the time is you can even have a gratitude journal in the morning time. The first thing that you want to do in the morning is you want to set yourself up for the day. So by setting yourself up for the day, positive thoughts right away. So maybe it is a meditation. It's a guided meditation on positivity, on courage. I also recommend reading something, even if it's just a small blurb that could be motivating, it could be encouraging. As you said, you're the sum of the 5 people around you. So circle yourself around. If you don't have access to those people, then I suggest follow them on like podcasts or read their books, or when you're driving, buy their CDs or not CDs anymore, but hook up to Bluetooth and listen to their podcasts. So positivity right there. So first thing in the morning is listen to something positive. Maybe take 5 minutes to write your gratitude journal. Maybe set yourself one goal. Like, you don't want to overwhelm yourself. So maybe today is I'm going to drink 1 extra glass of water. So because you don't want to change the whole thing, because at the end of the day, then you're going to set yourself up for failure. You need to make it accessible, and you need to have it attainable, and you need to have it sustainable.
So, because you're proving to yourself that I could do this. I can at least, because even if it's 1 glass of water and gratitude journaling in the morning, at least at the end of the day, you did it. And you say, okay, that's a new habit I've started. I could do that again tomorrow.
And you're programming yourself. You're programming yourself in the, like, it's like, that expression, fake it till you make it?
Yes.
Sometimes you have to fake it till you make it.
Of course.
So maybe you don't want to listen to that motivational, meditation, but just do it. Take that, even if it's 5 minutes. Mm-hmm. But so, it's programming yourself. And so have like you're asking me what are the tips. So have a plan, go to bed, write your gratitude, like, because gratitude is a beautiful place to be, because you cannot be angry. You cannot be frustrated. You cannot be grateful when you are in gratitude. Mm-hmm. So it's really, even it's just 3 things of gratitude. Maybe it's going to be hard. So maybe it's just a simple thing as today didn't snow. Not today.
There's some people who are in a bad place,
they're
right?
In a bad place.
They can't think of something good.
Yes, I totally respect that. So it's just breaking it down, even as simple as, like,
I'm alive.
I
get a chance to change.
Yeah. So it's just making it attainable for you. Mm-hmm. So don't compare yourself to anybody else. What can you do today? What are 3 things that you can do today to change it for a positive experience, or just to slowly change your mindset and sticking to it?
3, I think a 3 is a good number, man. Because so 1 could be gratitude journaling. Get a little book, write it. I've heard people don't even reread it, because it's not about accomplishing something. It's just about putting it out on paper, something that you're grateful for.
Feeling that. It's really important, not just to write it. Like, it's better to write it in your hand versus type it. Yes. It's to feel it and let that go. It's like tune into how you're feeling. And so, write those things down and feel the gratitude. Take a moment to say, okay, I'm really, really grateful for this person in my life, for having this experience, or where I am, and just really, so that would definitely be there. So write it down and take a moment to actually feel the gratitude, which is really, really important.
Okay, so that's one thing. Okay, what's another second thing,
surround yourself around people that are, the average of 5 people. So what are
if you're going to an office, man, and
so
like
you're going to the
just,
office, so then
you ever watch The Office? A lot of offices are like that show.
Yeah, well, so as you're going to, it's funny you say that because we actually watched that on Friday night. That's so funny.
I know like people who don't like it because they're like, it's not funny. This is what
reality.
it's like in my office, and it's not funny.
Yeah.
Like they're really serious. They don't like it.
Okay, so you're going to the office. Here's a chance to play something positive in your car. Don't listen to the news. I never listen to the news because news is negativity.
Agreed.
So, download a podcast the night before that you find somebody that's motivating, and listen to that. You can listen to them in the morning as you're getting ready, brushing your teeth, putting your makeup on, like program yourself.
Mm-hmm. Yes. Yeah. So, okay, good. So we got gratitude journaling. Podcasts, I do so agree with that. Like just type in any of your personal interests, look for things that are about, like self-development, anything like that. Definitely. You must inundate your mind with people who will have a positive influence on you. Mm-hmm. I completely agree. Yeah. Okay, what's a third thing? What's one final thing people can do?
Depends what they're looking for. So if we're talking about somebody who wants to get healthier, so what is one thing today that you can do that would help you be healthier? So is it maybe cutting down on, rather than having, 3 biscottis with your coffee, maybe cut it down to 2. Mm-hmm. If it's not drinking enough water, maybe just increase 1 glass of water. It's just make it, as I always say, make it attainable so that it's sustainable, because it's a lifestyle change, whatever it is you're doing, basically, right? So you want to break it down in increments, and you don't want to overwhelm yourself and pile yourself with all these different things, because then, of course, you're gonna forget that. You got too much going on, forget it. So just break it down to one little step.
Because week 2 gets a little harder, right? Like you just add something by week 2.
But by week 2, you hope to think that, okay, you've implemented these things like drinking extra water. Mm-hmm. Okay, so continue drinking the extra water. That becomes a habit.
Right.
And then, so maybe it is taking, instead of having 2 teaspoons of sugar in your coffee, maybe just bring it down to 1.
Yeah. So you're just slightly increasing your goal by small increments. That's...
Yeah.
Okay.
But also, it's also training the mind. It's really, really important that it's making that mind-body connection. It sounds so cliche, but it's so true.
It's not cliche.
It's connecting to who you are and what you need and what you want.
I think that's part of the problem, that it doesn't make for a great Instagram post that I had an extra glass of water today. It's not so glamorous. And I think people have a very hard time understanding that it's those habits that all piled together create the fit individual who's got more energy, who has the energy for change, right? Who has the energy for that job interview and overcome the self-doubt. Because you can still doubt yourself, but if you've got energy, if you're not tired, you can overcome the self-doubt for at least the period of an interview. Yeah. Right?
Yeah, totally. Like, I totally agree with you.
Yeah, I think my energy has gotten me through a lot of stuff, and I thank God for the energy. So, Crystal, how can people sort of reach out to you? Where can we reach you?
Well, I have a couple of ways that you can reach out to me. I have my website, my own website. So it's bodyconfidencemethod.com. bodyconfidencemethod.com. Yeah.
Again, that'll be in the show notes too.
And if they can't figure that out, or they can't read, it's a little bit easier. I also have my own gym. I'm a co-owner with my partner, and it's called Santé Core West Island.
Okay.
And core is spelled with a K. And my tagline for Instagram is Crystal _champagne. So you can reach, and then you can direct message me there as well.
Okay. Well, we're going to have all that in the show notes as well. And Crystal, I have to say that was great. I mean, we talked about things we were going to chat about, and we didn't actually cover most of it because you got into therapy mode. You certainly helped me. I'm a better man already. And so listen, thank you so much for coming in. I look forward to seeing you again here. I know we're going to have a lot of questions, and probably people will want you back as a regular, as our therapist.
Dr. Ruth or whatever. Dr. Crystal. Yeah, right.
Well, thank you so much, Crystal.
Thank you. Thanks.
You have an awesome day, and you guys out there have an awesome day too. Thanks for tuning in to Forked Podcast.